there is a hidden force more powerful than constant contact, and it lives in the quiet moments after you've left the room. This isn't a theory, it's a psychological reality. The human mind is a meaning-making machine, and the most potent meanings are often assigned to those whose presence is defined not by noise, but by substance, by a quality of being that lingers, echoes, and shapes perception long after the interaction has ended. We've all felt this, whether it's the memory of a mentor whose wisdom still guides us, the calm friend who steadied us in a crisis, or the colleague whose composure under fire became the team's touchstone. That lingering echo is not an accident. It is the signature of a particular kind of character, one meticulously built on ancient, timeless principles. Picture this: you're not physically there, but in someone's mind, your name echoes. Your words are replayed, not as a simple memory, but as an active guiding force. Your perspective is instinctively consulted in their internal debates. They anticipate your reactions, filter decisions through your imagined counsel, and feel your influence as a steadying hand on their shoulder, even across vast distances. This is the anatomy of a profound personal impact, the kind that transforms you from a mere participant in someone's life into an integral part of their psychological landscape. This isn't about playing games, employing manipulation, or mastering social engineering. That is the fragile craft of the superficial, built on sand. What we are discussing is the result of a profound and noble craft, the craft of sculpting your character, your impact, and the unique substance you offer to the world. It is the art of becoming a person of such inherent quality that your absence creates a positive, instructive vacuum. You become a benchmark, a standard against which other interactions are measured. People don't just like you, they are shaped, however subtly, by the way you embody your values. They are influenced not by your persuasion, but by your example. And what if the ultimate blueprint for this effect wasn't invented yesterday in a trendy self-help book, but was perfected over 2,000 years ago in the bustling markets of Athens, the quiet libraries of Rome, and the challenging life of a former slave? The ancient Stoics, a school of philosophers concerned with living in accordance with nature and virtue, unlocked a practical and durable code for influence that doesn't fade with trends or familiarity. They understood that the most compelling form of power is self-mastery, and that from this mastery flows an irresistible and memorable presence. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who governed a sprawling empire, penned private meditations on controlling his own judgments amidst unimaginable pressure and temptation. Seneca, the playwright and advisor to the Emperor Nero, wrote profound letters on anger, grief, and tranquility while navigating one of history's most treacherous courts. Epictetus, born into slavery, taught that true freedom is found not in our circumstances, but in our disciplined response to them. These men lived in vastly different worlds, yet they converged on a central truth. The secret to lasting in someone's memory wasn't in the volume of your words, the frequency of your contact, or the cleverness of your tactics. It resided in your unshakable essence, in who you are when you arrive, your calm, your clarity, your virtue, and crucially, in the dignified and consistent impression you leave when you go. Your departure, they understood, is your final and most telling communication. Today, we are breaking down 10 vital abilities distilled from their philosophy. This is not a passive academic exercise. Master these and you won't just change your life in abstract ways. You will architect a presence so solid and resonant that in your absence you become the default mental reference point for calm, for clarity, and for principled strength. These are not mere life hacks. They are principles of profound self-ownership, a systematic operating system for the mind designed to produce excellence of character as its primary output. By the end of our time together, you will have a new, actionable framework to become unforgettable. Not by desperately demanding eyes and attention, but by embodying a presence that naturally earns deep respect, genuine fascination, and authentic trust. This is the path of the eudaimon, the flourishing human being whose good life is defined by virtue, and whose virtue, in turn, becomes their most powerful legacy. Stay close, because we are uncovering the Stoic protocol to live permanently, constructively, in someone's thoughts. If this channel adds value to your journey toward a more anchored and impactful life, the greatest support you can give is to subscribe to Stoic Mindset Mastery. Your trust drives this mission forward, and you won't want to miss a single principle. Each one is a cornerstone in building an unshakable self. Let's begin. Pillar 1. The unshakable citadel of self-command. Visualize a conflict reaching its peak. Voices are raised, logic is abandoned, and the air is thick with the charge of volatile emotion. The social script in this moment is clear: escalation. Everyone expects, perhaps even subconsciously wants, the explosion from you, the sharp retort, the visible anger, the satisfyingly dramatic loss of control. It would fit the narrative of the moment. It would be normal. But you do the unexpected. You become the anomaly. In the eye of the emotional hurricane, you are still. Your posture is composed, not rigid, but relaxed in its readiness. You create a deliberate, powerful pause with a deep, conscious breath, a breath that signals to your own nervous system that you are not in mortal danger, and to the room that you are not ruled by the storm. Instead of letting the contagious heat of the moment dictate your words, you speak. You choose words with precision and deliver them with grounded authority, not aggression. You respond to the issue, not to the emotion hurled your way. That specific conscious decision is monumental. It is an act of rebellion against our primitive wiring. And because it is so counter to the expected flow, it is branded into the memory of everyone present. People don't predict steadiness in chaos, they predict more chaos. When you become the singular source of that impossible stillness inside the storm, it etches itself into their awareness on a deep, almost primal level. The question will form in their mind, perhaps not immediately, but in a quiet moment later. How were they able to maintain such poise when everything was falling apart? This question, this curiosity, is the hook upon which your memory is hung. Seneca, who wrote an entire volume on anger, framed this power perfectly. True command is shown not by feeling no anger, that would be inhuman, but by choosing your action despite its surge. He distinguished between the initial, involuntary flash of feeling, the first movement, and the assent we give to it. The Stoic isn't someone who never feels anger. They are the person who refuses to let anger become their pilot. This isn't emotional suppression, which is toxic and brittle. It's the conscious, courageous selection of your response from a place of principle, not impulse. And here is the pivotal, practical truth that changes everything. When you govern your internal reaction, you subtly but decisively reshape the entire external dynamic. You become a psychological heat sink, absorbing the volatile energy of the situation and transforming it into a space where resolution, not just reaction, becomes possible. You lower the collective temperature. That caliber of self-possession isn't just strong, it's irresistibly attractive and deeply calming to others. In a world screaming for attention, the person who possesses quiet command of themselves becomes a magnet for respect. People retain, above all else, the image of the individual who stood firm under pressure, who wasn't capsized by the passing squall of emotion. This image becomes your avatar in their mental library. When you cross their mind in future moments of stress or decision, they don't just remember your name, they recall the feeling of stability you projected. They see someone reliable, anchored and in command of their own inner world, a fortress that cannot be easily besieged by external chaos. Reflect on how exceptionally rare this is in our contemporary landscape. Our culture often rewards rapid reaction, emotional exhibitionism, and letting immediate feelings steer public and private behavior. Social media is a testament to this, a perpetual engine of hot takes and performative outrage. But when you are the person who maintains reason, clarity, and patience, while others surrender theirs to the mob mentality or personal pique, you distinguish yourself on a fundamental human level. You become someone others look to not with envy or fear, but with genuine admiration. Not because you shouted the loudest or won the argument through domination, but because you demonstrated the highest and most authentic form of power, impeccable mastery over your own state. Let's be authentic with ourselves. We all face moments where embodying this calm feels not just difficult, but like a distant, unreachable country. The brutal workday where everything goes wrong, the personal frustration that gnaws at you in the quiet hours, the accumulated grinding strain of financial worries, relational complexities, or sheer exhaustion. Yet it is precisely in these universal struggles that Stoic self-command proves its formidable value. It is not a personality trait you're born with, it is a practiced skill, a discipline. Like a muscle, it atrophies with disuse and grows more resilient, more responsive, with consistent, intentional training. The practice is deceptively simple, yet life-altering. The next time you feel the physiological surge of frustration, the hot wave of reactive anger, or the cold grip of anxiety, your task is to interrupt the automatic cycle. Insert a wedge of awareness between the stimulus and your response. Pause. Take a full diaphragmatic breath, a breath that expands your belly, not just your chest. This physical act triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, dialing down the fight or flight response. And in that sacred pause, remember this core Stoic truth. You possess a choice. You are not a puppet. Your strings are not pulled by external events or other people's behavior. You can follow the well-worn path of impulsive reaction, or you can carve a new path of intentional, values-driven response. When you consistently choose intentional calm, you're not only upgrading your own internal experience, reducing stress, preserving dignity, avoiding regret, you are permanently upgrading your social and professional perception. You are rewriting your reputation in real time. People will begin to categorize you not as volatile or reactive, but as steady, dependable, the adult in the room. This perceived identity becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, opening doors to greater responsibility, deeper trust, and more meaningful leadership. Think about your daily environments, your workplace meetings, your family dinners, your social circles. When you operate from this foundational place of self-command, people take subconscious note. They may not comment on it in the moment, but they absorb the quality you bring into disordered situations. Later, they will reflect on how you held the center when others emotionally spiraled. You become memorable precisely because you are a statistical and behavioral anomaly in a culture where emotions are so often handed the pilot's yoke. You become the calm port in a stormy sea, and people never forget where to find safe harbor. And here's the core, often overlooked insight. The primary and most precious gift of self-command is the profound internal peace it returns to you. When you are no longer a hostage to every passing feeling, when your sense of worth and stability isn't yanked around by external approval or minor setbacks, you feel genuinely rooted and secure in your own being. This isn't arrogance, it's equanimity. That inner solidity doesn't stay hidden. It radiates outward through 1,000 subtle signals. Your posture, the calmness in your eyes, the measured pace of your speech, the lack of defensive bristling. You end up not only feeling more at peace, but also operating at a higher, more effective level in every domain of your life. Your decisions improve because they aren't clouded by panic or pride. Your relationships deepen because they aren't transactional dramas. You become, in the truest sense, the author of your experience. Pillar 2, the clarity of rational choice. When we hear the phrase rational choice, a sterile image often arises. Cold calculation, emotionless logic, a Mr. Spock-like detachment from the human experience. This caricature misses the profound humanity and practical power of the Stoic view. Stoicism does not ask us to discard our emotions, but to integrate them with wisdom. Rational choice in this philosophy is the ultimate expression of mental clarity and moral vision. It's about making decisions forged in the furnace of careful reflection, not launched from the catapult of reflex or desire. When you become consistently the person who makes considered, principled choices, you naturally rise above the cacophonous noise of impulsive opinion and short-term thinking. People will remember you for your discernment, your ability to sift signal from noise. They will recall your unique capacity to see beyond the immediate panic to the wider horizon, and your methodical, calm approach when uncertainty reigns and everyone else is grasping for certainty. In a crisis, the person who can think is worth 10 who can only react. Marcus Aurelius, in his private journal meant for no eyes but his own, left us a guiding light that cuts to the very core of this principle. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. Let that resonate deeply. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. Every action, every word, every significant outcome in your life begins as a thought, a judgment, an internal narrative. Clear, disciplined thinking inevitably births clear, effective action. When your decisions stem from a foundation of wisdom, long-term principle, and virtuous intent, rather than short-term impulse, fleeting emotion, or social pressure, you transform into a pillar of trust in the eyes of others. You become the person others instinctively lean on when direction is lost, precisely because you have demonstrated that your compass is calibrated to true north, not to the shifting winds of popular sentiment or personal convenience. Imagine this all too common scene. You're in a high-stakes business meeting or a critical family discussion. A major decision must be made, and the pressure is palpable. A sense of panic begins to set in. The group psychology pushes almost viscerally for a fast, reactionary decision, any decision, just to relieve the acute psychological discomfort of ambiguity and indecision. The unspoken mantra is, let's just do something. But you, trained in the Stoic pause, do something radically countercultural. Instead of getting swept into that anxious current, you consciously create a moment of intellectual and emotional space. You might ask a clarifying question. What is our ultimate goal here beyond just solving today's problem? Or what might we be overlooking in our rush? You step back mentally to evaluate the entire landscape. You weigh the real long-term consequences of each potential path, not just the immediate relief they promise. And then, with calm conviction, you outline what you see as the most sound, principled path forward. You don't just decide, you decide with reason, and you make that reasoning visible. That visible process of deliberation is what truly sets you apart. You will come to be seen as the reliable anchor in turbulent waters, the person with sound, tempered judgment. This isn't about claiming infallibility. The Stoics were deeply suspicious of anyone who claimed never to be wrong. It's about the visible, unwavering commitment to a thoughtful process. It's demonstrating that you respect the gravity of choice enough to not treat it lightly. That quality, in a world of snap judgments and instant gratification, commands a deep and enduring respect. Now, bring this lens into your personal world, where our choices often carry the heaviest emotional weight. How often do we let the transient emotion of the hour dictate choices that echo for years? Reacting to a friend or partner in a moment of wounded pride, saying words that can't be unsaid, making a significant financial decision from a place of fear, scarcity, or greed status, choosing how to spend our most finite resource, time, based on the loudest demand, not the most meaningful priority. When you start navigating all decisions, large and small, from this stoic, rational vantage point, you perform a profound act of emotional and psychological decluttering. You strip away layers of unnecessary personal drama and anxiety. You are no longer choosing from a place of raw fear, simmering irritation, or unexamined desire. You are choosing from a foundation of understanding of the situation, of your own values, and of the kind of person you wish to become. You move from being a passive reactor to your environment to an active author of your life's narrative. Envision being known as the person who, when interpersonal or professional chaos erupts, doesn't get emotionally consumed by the flames. You remain psychologically rooted. You allow yourself and others the critical gift of time for analysis, for cooling off, for perspective. That is the individual who occupies valuable and lasting mental real estate in others. In future difficult times, people will begin to internally ask, what would their approach be here? When your name becomes synonymous with a rational, principled methodology, you have achieved a form of influence far more powerful than authority granted by title. That is true, earned influence. You're not just choosing for yourself. You are passively modeling a standard of conduct for everyone around you. You become the calm, reasoning center that introduces logic, perspective, and emotional equilibrium to scenarios where others might fracture into blame, panic, or mindless reactivity. The Stoic perspective on this is beautifully nuanced and humane. Rational choice does not mean discarding your emotions as irrelevant or pretending they don't exist. That is repression, not wisdom. Instead, it means acknowledging your emotions fully, saying, I am feeling furious, I am feeling terrified, I am feeling envious, and then treating them as important data points, not as infallible commanders. Your anger signals a perceived injustice. Your fear signals a perceived threat. The data is valuable, but it is not the final verdict. It's recognizing what you feel, investigating the judgment that sparked that feeling. Is this truly an injustice? Is this truly a mortal threat? And then still making the decision that best serves your long-term integrity and well-being, not just the short-term craving for relief or retaliation. Epictetus, with his characteristically razor-sharp clarity, gave us the master key to this entire process. What disturbs us are not events, but our judgments about them. Rational choice is, at its heart, about seizing sovereign control over that judgment. It's the disciplined practice of interrogating your initial, often distorted, impression of an event and selecting a response consciously aligned with your chosen virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, rather than one hijacked by whichever emotional wind is blowing strongest in the momentary storm. And let us not overlook the expansive, positive ripple effect this practice creates, extending far beyond your own life. In your career, your relationships, and even brief daily interactions, people begin to view you as a source of rare stability and clear thinking. They see you as a pressure-tested intellect, someone who doesn't leap before looking, who doesn't create costly messes through impulsive action. That kind of grounded, reliable presence is increasingly rare. In an era drowning in snap judgments, tweet-length reactions, and reactive decision-making, the person who thinks deeply, clearly, and chooses wisely is a lighthouse. When people encounter this quality, they don't forget it. They are drawn to it because it speaks to a deep, universal human longing for order, sense, and a mind that is master of itself. not a slave to chaos. This consistent practice of rational deliberation builds a unique and powerful form of personal sway, influence earned through demonstrable competence and character, not manipulation. When you are a recognized wellspring of reasoned judgment, others naturally begin to seek your perspective before making their own important choices. They trust your counsel because they have witnessed the rigorous, principled process behind it. They turn to you in moments of collective uncertainty because you provide not just ready-made answers, but more importantly, a better framework for finding answers. This variety of impact does not merely render you memorable. It renders you intellectually and morally indispensable. People remember, with profound gratitude, those who help them see their own situations with greater lucidity, who serve as a sounding board that helps them make superior choices themselves. You become a catalyst for wisdom in others, and that is perhaps the highest and most enduring form of being remembered.